coming in and flooding coming in, particularly when the wind really hit Polk County hard in rural areas of Polk County. It was a week and a half before we got the power back. And we knew as all this was going on, leadership is about going to the cause of the crisis and showing up and trying to help in the midst of restore confidence, figure out what you can do to help with their situation. So we had a great joint town hall in Polk State at Clear Springs, and it was packed because you had some folks still didn't have the power on, you had other folks who were working on FEMA claims, and we stood out in front of a semi-hostile crowd together, and we went through, and we brought folks from FEMA there, we went through the claims. A lot of casework came about from that day. Our staff was really thrilled about that, but that's our job, right? And I remember there was this moment where you had this woman living with her husband in a manufactured home out in South rural Polk County. It was flooded, and they were worried about mold, and they had nowhere else to go. And it was a real tense moment. But then I promised we were going to get them temporary housing. There was the TSA program and other programs to get them in the roof over their head that night. And thank God we have great staff that can help us with these very bold promises. And we got that family into housing before the end of the town hall, by the way. So it was like happy joy that it got in, and everybody knew about it. And we had to work with a few, but a lot of rural areas for utilities around here, so that was a big one. And people left with a more instilled confidence that we were going to handle it. It wasn't going to be perfect, but that we were all working together to do the right thing for the community in a time of great crisis. And then the trip to our congressional delegation trip to Iraq was a really special moment. You know, when I first got into Congress, we were at war in two places, in Iraq and in Afghanistan. And it was right during a really tough campaign in Mosul, in the northern part of Iraq. That was one of the, sadly, the most dangerous parts of the Iraq war, liberating that city. And our Florida National Guard, they were in the medevac teams. They were stationed in Kuwait. They would fly into Iraq, and they had to get there and back with whatever soldiers were injured in an hour, a golden hour. For those of you who go to healthcare, it's a big concept. And it was high pressure, and it was dangerous. They get shot at on the way in and out. They had to quickly stabilize whatever troops were injured, and they saved a lot of lives. And you went out there, and you think of the desert like Arizona or Texas, you got some cactuses, you got a little bit of grass and trees everywhere, and this is Lawrence of Arabia, like desert, just sand dunes, and it took me a while to realize those weren't little ponds out there in the middle of the desert, those were oil ponds from the oil bubbling up from the ground. So we were not in Florida anymore. And as we got there, we saw in the middle of the desert these amazing bases and the courage of our troops to be isolated out there, and they were very appreciative. Talking to a lot of military, Congress is a very special role for the military. We fund the military, we have vote on the war power, we fund our VA hospitals and a lot of these other programs. So it's really important that we make sure we have their backs. And what we didn't know at the time is, so Dennis was in the majority of the time, and so he had to host the trip, and he's like, apparently I'm hosting the trip. I'm like, thank you very much, I appreciate that. And he had to become an ambassador for the United States for 4 or 5 days, because you can't just go over there as schleps and not do anything. There's a gift, there's, State Department is helping us with our messaging to make sure we are solidifying U.S.-Iraq relationships, solidifying U.S.-Kuwait relationships, and there was a point where we found ourselves in Black Hawks with the flak bulletproof vests. Where am I right now? you did an amazing job, and I learned so much on the trip, and that along with trips to Iraq and to Kuwait and to Qatar and to Korea and other areas where troops are serving have left a big impression. And the last thing I'll say on this, and I'd love to take questions, is these are our neighbors serving abroad. You know, folks who lived in Winter Haven and Kissimmee, East Orlando, and went to local high schools that you heard of. I think sometimes we think if you didn't serve in the military, and I didn't, but I certainly support the military, that it's this others, it's folks that you don't know, but it's your neighbors, it's folks you graduated with, and making these incredible sacrifices. And it's also so important when they come home to support them, because they saw that wars happened. They saw and did things that are very challenging. So every time we have Memorial Day, we have Veterans Day, and some of these other opportunities, use that empathy that you learn here with your Christian faith, put yourself in their shoes, and really make sure to extend a hand in a moment of respect, because it's so important for the future health of veterans as they come back home, and for the university to continue to hire veterans, all that's so important. But I want to end where I began. Dennis, it's great to have developed a long-time relationship, and I hope that's a big lesson for all of you as you go into any part of life, whether it's business, whether it's politics, whether it's research, or the press, or law enforcement, or military. Relationships are really kind of the foundation of what makes this country great. So thank you, everybody, for having me. For questions.
Yes. I don't need a microphone, but thank you. In any event, I'm Gordon Wayne Watts, the National Director of Contract with America, Part 2, registered trademark, and the same Gordon Wayne Watts nearly won the largest pro-life case in Thoreau. You remember Terry Schiavo, and you're a lawyer, you can verify this. I'm not blowing smoke. I want to thank you for being a fiscal conservative. I've looked at your career, but with all due respect, I want to ask you, are you amenable to filing student loan bankruptcy legislation to make the Department of Ed tamp down its irresponsible lending trillions to students that can't repay? And because it's in your Democrat platform, one, are you amenable to it? And two, no disrespect meant, how come you Democrats haven't done it and we Republicans are even more guilty as far as not getting the tax dollar off the student loan? And I'll hang tight in case you have any questions, because I really want to see you Democrats succeed and work with the Republicans. It's my party. So you understand the free market part of my question about forcing the Department of Ed to stop lending, because credit card users can get bankruptcy. So why not students?
Thank you so much for that great question on student debt and higher education. First of all, I am supportive of the proposed by the president to have $10,000 of relief from student loans. I do think it should have happened during the height of the pandemic, when we were doing a lot of other relief programs like the Paycheck Protection Program to help out small businesses, and stimulus checks and the like. I think the fact that it came late gets inconsistent with some of the messaging. But I am supportive of that, and did sign the Supreme Court brief in support of the president's power to do that. In addition, I think that there is room to reform the bankruptcy code for some ability to discharge student loans under the right circumstances. I'm open-minded to how that would happen. It could be partial or more so than that, but it's one of the few debts that is discharged. Keep in mind, there is a distinction between a lot of other debts, and that this is taxpayer money, so I would want to have some compromise with what we're able to do, because we're balancing two interests, the interest of the individual to be able to have a fresh start. We don't have better prisons like we did many years ago in England and in Europe. We want people to have fresh starts, but we also need to make sure we're safeguarding taxpayer dollars as well. So it's a balance on those things. So certainly I'm open-minded to it. And I graduated with $139,000 in student loans from Chicago. And I paid most of it back already. And it was an investment in myself. But I understand some folks fall in hard times. They have a big illness. They have an illness in their family, or some other major life event that may be beyond their control. But makes it more difficult for them to do that. I do, though, support the continued role of having federally backed student loans because I want to make sure everyone in America has the opportunity. If they want to go to higher education, that they'll have access to it. Also, I do think it should apply to apprenticeship programs for folks that want to develop a trade as well. So I think there's a role in it to equalize it among Americans so that every generation needs to have the ability to pursue their ambitions and pursue their dream. And I do think that having that access when there isn't an entire free market ability to do that is an important role. But there are limitations to it. So thank you for that question.
Thank you for coming today, Congressman. Do you consider yourself a man of Christian faith?
Yeah, I'm a confirmed Catholic.
Okay, gotcha. Well, here at SU, we believe that the Bible is the Word of God, inerrant, past, present, and future, and that takes precedence over any man-made position that opposes it. With that said, do you support the taking of the life of a woman's life?
So I do support a woman's right to choose.
Okay.
Thank you. I do also think that there are roles for the church and for others to encourage folks to make what they think is the morally right decision. So I think there's more. This is literally the most controversial issue in our politics, in American politics, and I think it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I do think there's a role to encourage people to make what we believe are morally right decision. I think there's also the freedom to be able to decide what you want to do with your own body and your own life. So it's something I'd encourage you all to not look at this as a zero-sum, win or lose, one side or the other type of issue. I'm here today because I empathize and put myself in the shoes of many different Americans and try to find compromise. So thank you for that question.
Thank you, Congressman, for coming here. Hey, I know many of us can have zero political differences views, but I would like to ask you, how do you deal with those differences in the legislature? How do you